While it's been a hard year for many teams, S2G have felt the season's ups and downs the most out of them all. From PMGC champion to not even qualifying for Spring EUC, S2G have borne a lot of backlash and internal disappointment for months. This split, however, we've been seeing the return of the giants we saw in January. But what will be the difference from PMGC 2022 to 23? What can we look for in this team that brought victory to Europe for the first time? We'll explore all this and more in this What to Expect video on the road to PMGC. To determine what this year's PMGC will hold in store for the team, we have to look back at their performance last year. In 2022, S2G were a quiet team. In fact, I remember being surprised that S2G were anywhere near the top, simply because we didn't see very much of them until the last couple of games. This was because they focused on points more than anything else. Surviving as long as possible under the old point system was the most important, which led to a consistent climb up the leaderboard. Their strategy was to play edge, or center to edge on Miramar, moving late and slow on the shortest route to the new zone. Their fight style was defensive, not engaging unless absolutely necessary. While this worked very well if they could access a quiet part of Zone 6 and onwards and just let the other teams fight among themselves without much interference, S2G ran into problems with being gatekept repeatedly. Their CQC lacked the aggression that was required to push through these blockages. However, when these issues did not occur, they were able to be fresh and ready for the fights in the late game when other teams were struggling with supplies, and having already done as much third-partying as possible, they were able to win games with a high point result. Moving forward to more recent events, PMPL Turkey saw them be tied for first place with Malise and obtained their 1000th PMGC point. Clearly this team have adapted to the new point system, but how exactly have they done this and what can we expect from PMGC? Let's go over their current strategy. If I'm gonna be honest, S2G haven't changed all that much. They still play edge or center to edge, they still play for position, and they prefer to remain quiet until endgame. But what is different is their level of aggression. They still play very defensively. There's not a whole lot of aggression once they get to a position. But what we do see is they have stepped up to the plate in order to get a position they want. They have no problem ousting a team out of a spot in the zone they want to have. The other difference is that position. Too often in 2022, we saw them cling on to a spot in the low ground, some sort of compound or shack with two teams looking down on them. This time, however, they're much more insistent on taking a position on a high ground area, whether it's occupied or not. Overall, I expect to see a much more aggressive S2G than we are used to seeing. Obviously, they are most confident in the edge play strategy they are holding on to. In my mind, their individual fighting technique and strategy still need a little improvement, but I hope to see them back that up with a bit more of a strong presence as a squad. Without teams like 4AM, Nova, and T2K around to threaten S2G with their similar playstyle, the defending champions need to make those 3 empty shoes too big for any other team to fill, thereby giving S2G total control of these zones. PMGC is looking to be a very interesting event this year, with plenty of new blood to challenge the veterans. I'll be documenting the event here on the channel as much as possible, but until then, good luck to your favorite teams.